No, Tommy's doing solid work. Um, the thing that Western civilization, which we native English speaking peoples are not part of Western civilization. That's the Romans. Western civilization is the Romans. That's not us. We developed in direct refutation to Rome and the
Okay.
concepts and ideas of Rome. We are Northwest Germanic and therefore British Isles and, Northern Celtic peoples. That's who and what we are. And our histories go back long before there ever was a thing called Rome, right? We have
Yeah.
structures in the British Isles that are far older, 2-3 times older than the pyramids, right? So the argument from Western civilization, which is the Holy Roman Catholic Church, and before that, the Byzantine Orthodox Church, is that
Okay.
that religion, Christianity is what created our civilization and organized and shaped us. It's not true. It laid down on top of our already existing civilization, which was by then thousands of years on. Right. And what is a civilization? A civilization is all the histories and all the myths and all the stories and all the complex ways in which our peoples worked out individually and collectively how to deal with the complexity of the world, to
Okay.
deal with
Yeah.
malevolence within ourselves and within others, and how to assess all these complex, intra and interpersonal things, all these status hierarchy differences and, you know, um, cultural differences, because our civilization's comprised of several cultures, primary cultures, right? We've got the Welsh, we've got the Irish, we've got the Scots, we've got East Anglians, we've got Midlanders, we've got Britannics, we've got Cornwallians,
Yeah.
we've got some lingering Romans from long ago, we've got Anglo-Saxons, and it's just Burlingame name. It's an Anglo-Saxon family. They're still in the Midlands of England. They've been there since who knows, 600s, 500s, 400s, right? Um,
Yeah. I was doing the genealogy on my family, and they can go all the way back to like 700
yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah. So, the point being is that our English civilization is this and we are all, all of us from those isles, those of us who originate from those isles, all the way up through the Normans, because the Norse Normans, first off, were not French, although they had some French knights with them, but they were Norwegians. They were Norse Normans,
Yeah.
Um, give me a second. They were more like the English than anybody else, because English 60% of English civilization is Scandinavian, Germanic, right? Northwest Germanic. So when the Normans came across, they became more English than the English, and they codified more rigorously what it means to be English, right?
Okay.
In
Yeah.
rituals and practices and etc. They didn't replace English civilization. They fully embraced it. So um, our English civilization resonates deep in our bones. It's in our language. It's in our roots. It's in our stories. It doesn't matter if you're Irish or Scottish or Welsh or, again, Cornwallian or East Anglian or Wessex or from the Midlands or from Northumbria, etc. We are all English peoples, right? And I don't mean ethnically, because
Yeah.
there's no English ethnicity. Doesn't exist, right? We are English peoples. Our shared history goes back thousands of years on those islands, thousands of years, right?
Yeah.
And back, we also have to remember that the English Channel didn't exist 9,000 years ago. That was Jutland, right? Because during before the Younger Dryas sudden melting, that was all above land, above water.
Yeah.
That's
I
Jutland.
was,
Oh
It was
my God. I didn't
right.
know that.
So
Yeah, I didn't know
from
that.
Northwest Germany, Scandinavia, all the way across to Ireland, and just off the west coast of Ireland, that was all land.
okay. Yeah.
When our peoples were there, by the way, right? So well within, right? Our peoples didn't get there afterwards. We were already there. So much of our shared, Germanic English people's history and culture and civilization is under the English Channel.
I was just reading about how they were looking in the English Channel and they could see like ancient waterfalls and ancient rivers and
Yeah,
all that stuff
yeah,
under there.
yeah. So, point being is
Yeah.
that our English civilization is one of the oldest, contiguous cultures and civilizations on Earth. It's one of the greatest. We are one of the few civilizations on Earth that has had such an impact. It's also why, starting, with the Second Rome, which is the Holy Roman Catholic Church, there's been such an effort and push, which really took off in the 1600s, to erase our civilizational heritage and recognition of ourselves as an actual separate, distinct civilization, and try to subsume us into European civilization, which we are not. Mhm.
My
Okay.
understanding of, basically, when I think of Rome, I think of centralization, right?
Yes.
And then because probably due to environmental reasons, there wasn't enough to go like for centralization to really naturally
Well,
occur.
you need to shift that. You're absolutely right, but that's not the fundamental difference between English civilization, which is Northwest Germanic peoples, Celts, Gales, Picts, etc., is that at the core of our culture and our identity is individual sovereignty.
Mhm.
Rome is a slaver system.
Right.
Rome is
That's what I
based
mean by
on,
centralization. Somebody's at the top of the pyramid.
well, yes, but we have that too. Actually, we are a monarchical peoples through and through, right? We are a status hierarchy peoples through and through. The difference is that in the English system, the king and the people are equal in the eyes of common law, in the eyes of, you know, the, putting it this way, the king and the lowest peasant are both individually sovereign,
Okay.
even though
Yeah.
we have status hierarchies, right?
Mhm.
This is what is very unique about, English and Germanic civilizations. We are by nature coded against slavery.
Would you say that's because we're really good at violence?
That's certainly part of it, but you were touching on part of it also. We have much longer winters. We have much harsher winters. We have much shorter
Okay.
growing seasons. We've had to collaborate and work together, even across boundaries and differences, or we wouldn't make it through the winters. So what that's done, and we've also had to have a different relationship with our women, where women need to be more enfranchised, and our women, we still lost some of our women, a good portion of our women in childbirth. So we've always had a higher regard and status for our women, and because we're a warrior people who will fight against being enslaved, right? The Romans never
Yeah.
truly defeated the Germanic peoples, right? They subjugated
No, they didn't. No.
the Britons, but the way they actually subjugated what they called the Britons was they drafted them into Rome's legions and led them off to other parts of the empire and killed them all off in wars. That's how they actually, subjugated first they went in, they took the tribes and turned the tribes against each other and all of that. But after that, what they did is they just took the young men, put them in legions, and with a local general, and they shipped them off to a war somewhere else in the Roman Empire. And after 20 years of service, there might be 3 of those guys or 20 of those guys that come back alive. And they're old men and
Yeah.
broken. And often they wouldn't give them lands back in Britain. They would give them land somewhere else in Hispania or somewhere else.